Welcome to Linguistics. This channel is about all things linguistic, discussing topics in phonetics, phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, and sociolinguistics. So let's see what we've got today. We divide speech sounds into two general groups, vowels and consonants. So there are other ways of grouping sounds together, but for now we are just focusing on consonants and vowels. So two principal groups. For consonants, how many features do we need to identify the consonant? 3. Yes, we need to know about the voicing, we need the place of articulation, and the manner of articulation. So what I'm going to do today is just to give some examples of the way we identify these, right? For example, paba. Of course, the way we start, there's an order. Always we do it from the top left to the right. For example, pa and ba. Pa is minus V, voiceless, is bilabial, plosive. Place of articulation is bilabial, manner of articulation is plosive. Ba, the voiced bilabial plosive. So, suppose you speak a language in which there is no pa, and you just know the symbol, but you don't know how to pronounce it. And you go to a phonetics conference and you want to talk to your colleagues, other linguists, about this sound, but you don't know how to pronounce it. So you don't have to. Pa is simple. Probably a lot of people, like most people, would be able to pronounce it. But hypothetically, if you can't pronounce this and you want to talk to a linguist about this sound, instead of saying pa, you can say, oh, by the way, I'm talking about the voiceless bilabial plosive, right? So these are actually the descriptive names. So as you move to the right on the chart of the consonants, so you get to the alveolars, minus voice, voiceless, plus voice, alveolar, plosive. And then moving on, k, g, minus, plus, voiceless, voiced. So why did I tell this? Because I wanted to reintroduce the concept that we need 3 features to identify every consonant. I want to segue into the vowels now. For vowels, you need one more feature. So to identify, this is a vowel chart. Think of this as your tongue, and think of this as a hypothetical person who is facing the left. So this would be the tip of the tongue. Or maybe you can think of this as your mouth. To identify every vowel, you need 4 features. What features are those? By default, all vowels are voiced. So there's other features, there's other parameters. You can actually guess by looking at this vowel chart. You can see that this is high, this is low. So this is about tongue height. Okay, this is the tongue at its highest, and this is the tongue at its lowest. So basically, the vowels have to do with the position, like the key feature is the position of the tongue, especially the tongue body. So here, this is tongue body, this part, the front, middle, and back. This is blade and tip. Think of this as the body of the tongue, okay? The tongue body, if you don't make any effort, like there's a neutral position, right? So there's a neutral position, which is the center, the mid. If the tongue is in the rest position, it's here. It's neutral. But you can raise the tongue or you can lower it. If you raise the tongue, or the tongue body, then you will produce a high vowel. So you will produce one of these 6 vowels. So out of these 6 vowels, if you want to talk about English, English only has this one, and this one. You might say, okay, what is the difference between this and this? First of all, this is high, right? So in high and mid, then there's 2 levels. This is called tense. This is called lax. Again, this is tense. This is called lax. For every vowel, you need to know the height, which is the tongue, the height of the tongue body, whether it's in mid, which is rest position, which is neutral, or it's raised, in which case the tongue is raised in the mouth. So you are going to produce a high vowel. Then, or if it's lowered, in which case you will produce a low vowel. So that's tongue height. Okay, I said 4 features, right? So the second feature is the frontness or backness, which is, this is actually the vertical height is the vertical position of the tongue. Then the horizontal position is the front, central, back. So there's 3 possibilities again. What is the front or backness? It refers to the horizontal position of the tongue body relative to the neutral position. So, but the tongue body has 3 parts, front, middle, and back. So when you're producing the back vowels, usually the back of the tongue is raised. But when you're producing the front vowels, the front of the tongue is raised. In the neutral position, it's central. So I can give you some examples of these. Front it to produce a front vowel, which is the English e, like this one. So for this one, the word bed. So I'm going to move on to the third feature. Basically, the third feature is rounding, but it doesn't have to do with the tongue. It has to do with the lips. How does rounding work? It's simply whether you round your lips or you do not round your lips while producing the vowel. So, for example, this high front vowel, this one, which is the sound E as in beat or sheep, it's not rounded. So all of these, you see these pairs of vowels that appear to this next to this line, there's a line. So wherever there's a line and you have 2 vowels, the one which is to the left, it's not rounded. The one which is to the right is rounded. So in the case of this vowel, you can just draw a line yourself. So anything to the left of any line is unrounded. Anything to the right of any line is rounded. So in the case of this vowel, the unrounded version does not exist. There's only the rounded version. So you might ask, what vowel is this? An example for this is the word put. Okay, so how do you identify this? Is it round? Yes. So what are the 4 features for this sound, which is like an upside down omega? These symbols have their own names in the IPA, which we will introduce in a separate video. So in the order, it's height, backness, rounding, and laxings. Only the high vowels and the mid vowels, they come into pairs sometimes. For example, this one, they come in pairs, right? This one is the tense, this one is the lax version. This is beat, this is bit. So the only difference between the two is that this is a tense version, this is a lax version. This is tense, lax. So the high and mid vowels of English, they come in tense and lax pairs. The tense ones are generally a bit longer in their duration. They are a bit higher and they have more muscular tension. So for this one, this is beat, this is bit in terms of the vowel. So the symbol is different. But usually when it's E, it's also longer. So you need to use the symbol. But this one is usually not long. So the tense ones are usually longer, but the lax ones are usually not. They don't have the extra length, which you indicate by using these symbols. So that's a tense lax thing. Thanks for your time and attention, and see you again soon.